Okay, right. Welcome to 30k Forgotten Legion, and it's another time, an opportunity to talk about a Legion, which I'm really excited about. And thanks for Pete for letting me come round. And we're going to talk about the 13th Legion. So that's what the aim of this next discussion is going to be. It'll probably be an hour or so, real deep dive into the 13th Legion and talking about a load of things involved with them, which is going to be great. And like all of the other discussions, will be, I'm sure, a little bit of an eye-opener for myself to understand how they work a bit better. So, firstly then, thanks very much for this.
You are very welcome.
And we'll just crack straight into it, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what we'll do, first of all, is why did you pick the 13th Legion?
Well, the reason I picked them, first of all, I love Roman stuff, but much like the Iron Warriors, they are a very good beginner's legion. And whilst I am absolutely not a beginner, there's certainly a lot of things I need to do better, and I felt the Ultramarines would be more forgiving in that way. I mean, apart from the fact that I love the aesthetic. And there's a lot of stuff that really appeals to me. The Formentarus, Telemachus, the Praetorians, they're all very good in their way. And the idea of using an army that works, with the right of war and their special rules, the ones that work together, pull together, it's much more tactical. And if you can pull that off, it's much more sort of satisfying than just a crushing charge with a unit with 3 characters in, for example. But yeah, also just because I thought it would help me learn to play more tactically. And it's certainly done that, I think.
No, I really love the idea of the sort of Roman aspect, because big fan of the Roman Empire myself, and the Roman Republic, I suppose, everything Roman.
Yeah.
In fact,
absolutely.
I found out the other day that, I don't know how true this is, might have to fact check me on this one, but Constantine I was a crowned emperor in York. Believe that?
Really? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, actually. Yeah.
Fact check me if you like.
There was a lot of fighting about that.
Found that.
Constantine's not my favourite because he turned them all Christian.
Anyway, slight tangent as normal. I really I completely appreciate the sort of Roman aspect and the sort of tactical aspect of the Ultramarines. Completely understand that.
They're also a lot more interesting in 30k than they are in 40k.
They get a lot of hate, don't they?
They really do. And they shouldn't. In Heresy they don't, because they got a lot more character. I mean, the whole thing with Calth, no matter who you are, you do side with the Ultramarines. That.
I agree with that. Yeah. Like, reading that book, or when the Word Bearers did what they did. Oh my God.
I mean,
it's horrendous.
I would say that Rabute tried a little too hard to just clarify things, whereas he should have perhaps just gone, right, I know what this is, I know what's going on, there's fire. But it's exactly the way he would react. And it didn't go, the Word Bearers claim it's a victory, but it didn't quite work out as they'd hoped. They had to kill him.
I don't think it's a victory for them, is it?
They think it was, because they got to poison the star and create the Ruin Storm.
We never give the traitors a victory, though.
No, God no.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Lawless through and through, really. Okay, awesome. So that was a sort of premise. Was it like Rome? Loved the order of them.
Yeah, a lot of order. I mean, this is the thing. My Blood Angels.
T-shirt.
Yes, my T-shirt.
Check that out. It's a Primaris Marine, though, isn't it?
Oh no!
Is it? I don't know.
Oh, it might well be. That's really
40k
tragic.
T-shirt he's got on.
Oh no. Well, it's Ultramarines.
It's good though.
I had to wear this other than I keep wearing my Iron Warriors T-shirt, because the Iron Warriors are slowly becoming blue.
Yes. Excellent.
But yeah, so the order is, I really like that, because my Blood Angels are just a bunch of, they're all weathered and battered, and I just mix squads together when I feel like it, whereas these guys, they're all specifically marked out, and they all have their purposes.
You look great, mate. So, I mean, I've played against them, as you pointed out last time I was here. I got a loss and got battered quite badly.
My one legal victory against you, and my most.
That's a great game, to be fair.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a great game. Came down to like a dice roll at the end or something. I remember.
Yeah, it was if Guilliman couldn't get the charge, and then after that
couldn't
he moved in. Yes, that was it as well. Yeah,
could not get rid of it.
Yeah, and he got It Will Not Die.
No,
yeah, I'd never rolled It Will Not Die, but I did for him that day.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
Yeah, it was my first legal win against you, and I think this army is the one that I've come the closest to you before. I've got draws or minor losses because they are very adaptable.
I really like it.
And there's so much shooting, and as you like to charge,
yes,
this is not a great matchup. But yeah, it's so yeah, going into sort of the strength of the Legion then.
Okay, so we'll talk about or bring back if we can for a second. So we're going to talk about, if you don't mind, warlord. So you're going to pick some things, and, and then you can smash into them.
Yeah,
if that's all right. So specifically, we're interested about warlord traits and any sort of army-wide special rules first, if you don't mind, mate.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Go for it.
So the army-wide special trait for the Ultramarines is the Strength of Wisdom, which is it's changed a bit since the last edition. Basically, if you fire at a unit that another Ultramarines unit has fired at next to you, every model in that second unit that's within 6 inches of a model from that other unit, yes, it's very silly, gets +1 to hit. So it means you have to really condense your models, which makes it easier for blast weapons and stuff, or you just have to spread them out. I'm not entirely sure how it works if you've got 2 models either side that have fired at something. Does that make the whole squad hit on 6s if they're not within range of? It's very weird, but it works, and you have to think about it. And I've only just really started taking it into account. But I'm absolutely not the most experienced Ultramarines player. I just played a lot and lost a lot, and you learn a lot from losing.
Yeah, but you've had lots of games though. I mean,
oh yeah.
How many games have you had, do you reckon?
Oh. Probably more than I've had with my Blood Angels. So this has been the army that I had all last year.
Can you put a number on it? Number?
I don't know, 60, 70.
There we go. So 60, 70 games to someone that's coming in and never played Ultramarines before, then it might be some...
A few events where I've got a little bit stroppy.
No, it doesn't matter that.
But yes, it's they're hard. Whilst they're a beginner's army, to use them really well, and I think these could be top tier competitors. You have to really focus, and focusing is, as we know from long experience, it's not my forte. And I'm starting to learn that the longer tournaments go, the harder I find it to remember stuff.
I think it's everyone probably suffers from that.
But yeah,
just like you can get headaches, and it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, isn't it? Especially if you've got a... That's why I have such simple armies. If you've got such a complicated thing to remember, I can't remember half the things. I've got a simple army.
I'd almost be tempted to take a Fury of the Ancients list just because it's less models to worry about,
Yeah, someone might be doing that soon.
Oh dear.
Tough project, honestly.
I mean, this is the beauty of it. I mean, yes, they're terrifying to play against, but Fury of the Ancients armies are awesome to look at.
Yeah, they're cool.
Dreadnoughts, the Contemptors, the Leviathans, even the little box dreads, they've all got their place, and they're all excellent.
Yeah.
I much prefer all of them to the new 40k ones, but
we're going off tangent, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Enough of that. Right. So
there we are.
That's the Strength of Wisdom.
Yeah.
Their advanced reaction. This is quite powerful, but you've got to use it well, and I keep using it poorly.
You did well. You did use it very well, to be fair, against me.
Well, the moment you shoot las cannons, I have to respond that way, so that whatever the threat is, even if I lose my las cannons, I've maximised the damage. But so this advanced reaction may be made once per battle during the opposing player's shooting phase, when an enemy player declares a shooting attack targeting a friendly unit under the reactive player's control, which is all under the Legion Astartes Ultramarine special rule. Once all the to-hit rolls, wound rolls and armor saves are made, but not before any damage mitigation rolls or casualties removed. I mean, there never seems to be an issue when we're doing it. The reactive player may choose to expend one of their reactions to have both the unit targeted by the shooting attack and one other unit composed entirely of models with the Ultramarine special rule make a shooting attack targeting the unit that triggered this reaction, and following all the usual rules for shooting attacks. You can't use... you may not make any attacks indirectly. and blast weapons can be used, but template weapons can be used, but only within 8 inches, and D3 as they would be from a normal reaction. But after that, both units count as having reacted. So if you really bait the reaction out, you'll suffer. But then you will mean that the two most powerful units in the other army won't be able to fire again that phase.
Yep.
Again, it's down to wisdom on both players' parts, and I've used it with great effect when Fallen Taurus were much better.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, they took a hit.
Yeah, we will discuss that. Yes, that can be in the any other business.
Yes.
So, in the Warlord traits, I find these a bit lackluster, especially when you compare them to things like the Imperial Fist, but then most people find things... Imperial Fist and the Iron Warriors, they're really good ones. Yeah. But so, the first one is the Burden of Kings, which is a Loyalist one. In any phase in which one or more wounds has been allocated to a Warlord with this trait, whether saved or unsaved, the Warlord gains It Will Not Die 4+ and Fearless until the end of the Warlord controlling player's next turn.
Oh, okay, it's just a turn.
And in addition, once in each of the opposing player's turn, a single reaction... once in each of the opposing player's turns, make a single reaction without spending a point of the controlling player's reaction allotment, as long as the reaction was made by the Warlord or a unit the Warlord has joined. So whilst that sounds quite good and flexible, it has to be with the Warlord. And my Warlord has a combi melter, and he doesn't hang out with the... So, yeah.
They're not all great. No. I know that.
No, they're really not.
They're
but
not all great.
The one that I tend to use the most, because I tend to roll very poorly for leadership tests, is the Aegis of Wisdom. And now this seems to have no limit to how many units can do it. But any friendly unit made up entirely of models with the Ultramarine special rule that can draw a line of sight to a Warlord with this Warlord trait may, when called upon to regroup, use the Warlord's leadership characteristic for that test. And if successful, they may make shooting and declare charges as normal, but they can't move.
Oh, right, fine.
But that's not important. The important thing is they get to shoot and they get to charge as normal. Yeah. And then also, you get an extra reaction in the opposing player's shooting phase, which for the Ultramarines is the best. For that army, You know, and you got the Blood Angels, you want it in the movement phase or the assault phase, but for Ultramarines, it should be the shooting phase.
If you've got guns,
Yeah.
Extra shooting reaction is obviously what you need, isn't it? If you
and you do have other choices, which we'll discuss when we come to Bobby G. Mm-hmm. Then we got the Ultramarines Right of War, which I am convinced is an exceedingly powerful Right of War. Yeah, it just has some significant negatives, and it's our only Right of War currently. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I use it all the time. I'm now trying to lean away from it because I think I can get the benefits without taking the negatives.
Okay.
But we shall go into that.
Yeah, go for it.
Currently. So, basically, it's got a list of different orders you can give your army, a bit like the Imperial Guard, I suppose. You can't make one order twice in a row. Mm-hmm. You can make it... Again in the battle.
So if it's a 6-turn game, you can do one or twice. Can you?
Yeah, hold fast. You could probably do. If you're lucky, you could try and do it 3 times.
Yeah, there we are.
But the negatives will pile up as I'll point out. So the limitations to that, it means that I have to take an extra compulsory HQ choice. It has to be a Master Signal, and they aren't as good as they used to be.
Yeah, but they're still not bad. Master Signals are pretty solid.
They are, but an Armscotch does almost the same job. And it comes with a weapon.
I like Master. You got the Nuncio Vox. You can disrupt them. The disrupting
is good. Yeah, I find it just sits there, does very little. But that might be just because of the Logos Lectora.
Yeah.
And then the detachments using this Right of War must take an additional compulsory troops choice, and that is a kick in the teeth. I mean, I like my troops choices, but equally, I'd like to experiment with having things that aren't just tactical squads and breacher squads. Yeah. I mean, it gives you the compulsory choices are tactical squad, breacher squad, assault squad, and I have plans for an assault squad soon because the new kit looks beautiful. But it's an extra squad, more points. It doesn't get funneled towards things to make this right better.
Sometimes you think if you do feel that like tactical units and stuff like that, they just don't do anything
other than die.
Yeah, other than really stand there and get charged. I remember when I got charged by, I think it was 3 World Eaters. I had 10 salamanders, and they all got ripped to pieces because I lost by 2.
Yeah.
We've got to cut down.
I mean, having Vexillars and chain blades, I'm always in favour of that. I mean, but the trouble is with chain blades, I then tend to get too positive with them and then go, oh, they're going to charge.
Yeah.
Whereas what I should do is have them on there and then go, no, they're going to sit on the objective and they'll hold the objective if someone charges them.
Yeah.
Trouble is, with the strength 5 and shred, you kind of get a bit too positive with them. Whereas what they should do, I take the barest bone ones without anything, and they will sit at the back of the board.
Yeah.
And they'll fury or something, and that'll be it.
Absolutely. Rear defenders for your rear objectives, or possible middle ground.
Yeah.
Your tactical and your other.
And there's another unit that might come up for one of my favourite units that is absolutely dire in other respects. But we will get to it. Unfortunately, the other restrictions are that you cannot deploy using the Infiltrate Special Rule or Deep Strike Assault, Subterranean Assault or Flanking Assault. So Legion drop pods and stuff can't be taken as part of this detachment, which is fine. I've started taking a Vigilator and some Seekers, so the lack of Infiltrate isn't great, but really I don't want to be in the opponent's deployment zone. I just want to be sitting there targeting things. So the benefits of this, here we go. So the first order is full march, which is this all applies to infantry units, so there's no dreadnoughts or vehicles that can get these benefits, which is fine. So all models of the infantry at full march, all models of the infantry unit type must increase their movement characteristic by +2, but reduce their ballistic skill and weapon skill characteristics by 1 for a turn. Which isn't great if you're trying to fire at people. It's great for getting, if you need to get onto an objective in the first turn, but sacrificing the ballistic skill. But you can...
First and last turn, that'll be good for, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah,
first
absolutely.
Turn, bombing forward where you're hopefully no threat of assault. And last turn, again, bombing forward when you're no threat of assault or to grab things.
Absolutely, and I've done it that way. But I just need to have enough, I need to be thinking enough to compensate for the lack of ballistic skill by going, right, well, I do have I've got a master signal in this unit, and this box dreadnought's going to fire at the unit first, so at least 5 of these lasguns are still hitting on 2s.
It's nice to have the option.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it so I don't have to take rhinos and stuff, which means I get to have more killy stuff. And it makes it look more Roman-y if I just got infantry. Then hold fast is kind of the opposite, where all models of the infantry type must increase their leadership by +1. And if you've got Bobby G in the list, he also increases it again by another +1, so your tactical squads are at leadership 10, which is lovely, and you can make them stubborn for a turn. And may reroll all failed to hit rolls during a shooting tag, but may not move or run in the movement phase.
Oh, no, that's the one you caught me with.
But you can charge.
Okay.
It says no movement or running in the movement phase. So there's nuances to this that I'm only just getting through constant playing. It's the best one, but it's the one that is, it's got the most negatives, because standing still is just a problem in this edition. Retribution Strike, I always love this one. It's a bit of fun. They must increase their weapon skill characteristic by +1 and gain an additional bonus of +1 to any charge rolls, but must reduce their ballistic skill characteristic by 1. And that is great if you've got a unit of Terminators and you're like, this unit of Terminators is going to behave like a command squad now, hitting you on 3s. And also get +1 to the charge when you know how difficult these random charges can be. But by that point, minusing the ballistic skill shouldn't be a problem.
No.
Because if you're that far into combat, there's less for you to do. And this last one, kind of goes well with the Aegis of Wisdom rule. Regroup. All models of the infantry type may re-roll failed leadership tests made to regroup while falling back, and any failed reserve rolls. Still, I haven't paid attention to that last bit ever. But then with Locus Lectora, why would you have reserves? You'd only get them to come on from the back of the board.
Sometimes getting into intricacies of units, what they can do and rules, just forget.
That's it, and I'm still learning.
It might be a good idea, because I did it with a different game. Is literally I printed out and then I cut them out. So I had little cards with me on the table, so I'd line up all the cards, because otherwise I forget. Absolutely. I think that's definitely a problem I have. Rather than flicking through the book all the time.
That is the bane of my life, but I do it all the time because there's so much to think about.
Right. So let's go. We talked about the warlord traits, haven't we? Yeah.
The
Talked about
Rite of War.
Rite of Wars. Okay, so let's pop on to, because you've mentioned his name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you sort of have.
Well, I shall go over to Bobby G. Sorry, Rabute.
Yeah, it's not Bobby G.
Guillermin, apparently.
Is it his name?
Oh, there's many names for him.
What was it? Rabute Guillermin.
Rabute Guillermin is the thought, but someone else referred to it as Roboboat Gorilla Glue.
Oh, go on.
And I'm quite pleased with that
right.
one.
Well, it's not as bad as what have you called? We can't repeat that.
No, we cannot repeat that here.
What is Sam, the guy? Yes, so go on Primarch now.
So, Rabute Guillermin, he's 465 points.
Every penny, isn't it?
Absolutely, I think he is. Just to give him his full titles: Primarch of the Ultramarines, the Victorious, the Master of Ultramar, Ruler of Hosts, the Blade of Unity. And all of those things make sense because he isn't just a beat stick, although he is definitely a beat stick.
It sounds a bit like when that Persian guy talked to Leonidas about Xerxes, King of Kings.
Anybody with that many titles is quite up for themselves.
Exactly.
So he is movement 8, weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 6, strength 6, toughness 6, wound 6, initiative 6, attack 6. The usual Primarch gubbins. He has the Armour of Reason and the Gladius Incandor and the Hand of Dominion, and this is where he differs from Sanguinius, because Sanguinius can't take his two best weapons together, whereas Bobby can.
Yeah.
He has Cogni Signum, which is useful.
So good.
Frag grenades. He's got Master of the Legion, Adamantium Will 3+, which I need to remember.
Yeah.
But then no one ever uses psychic powers against Bobby's unit.
No.
Preternatural Strategy, Calculating Swordsman, and Loyalist, obviously.
Yeah.
Sire of the Ultramarines is his Warlord trait.
Mm-hmm.
All models of the Legiones Astartes special rule in the same army as Rabute gain +1 to their leadership characteristic while he's on the battlefield and not in reserve or removed as a casualty. In addition, at the start of the battle, before any model is deployed on the battlefield, an army with Mr. G as his Warlord may select one of the following phases: movement, shooting, or assault. For the duration of the battle, they gain additional reaction in the chosen phase as long as he's not been taken as a casualty.
Yeah.
So you can choose before each game.
It's the +1 leadership, which is so good.
Yeah, it's a +2, and then add that with his other rules.
Because obviously in the game, like, we all know that when you've got leadership 7 squads, it's not great, is it?
Yeah, leadership and pinning and -1 pinning and night fight.
Yeah, so when you're adding leaderships, especially with your abilities earlier, as you say, leadership 10 tactical squads that are now stubborn.
It's really good. Again, it's all about how you balance it. And one day I'll use all these perfectly together and I will destroy someone.
Yeah, well,
but currently I'm playing them sort of cack-handedly, and I'm still winning a few games.
As I said, if you get them printed out, maybe that might make you remember. Go, oh yeah, this time.
No, it's certainly worth a thought. So Preternatural Strategy is one of his special rules, and now this is different to the Logos Lectora. The effects it may select a single option: the Fleet 2, Counterattack 1, Furious Charge 1, or the Stubborn special rule, and the effects of this option are applied to all models in the army with the Legiones Astartes Ultramarine special rule, including Robert Gearman, but not any models of the vehicle type. So Dreadnoughts get this as well.
So can you add that to the movement one? So
you can.
That is.
So you give them movement 2, then Fleet 2.
That's what I'm saying. And it's great for turns 1 or the last turn, isn't it? Because that's absolutely speeding along.
And if your opponent, if you've already given them the hold fast, which will roll to +1 their leadership, so everyone's leadership 10, and then you give them stubborn, and someone tries to come in with pinning, unless it's tricksy librarian pinning. Which I hate. It's a real problem for Ultramarines armies, especially as I don't have a librarian. But there's no dispel in this game, unfortunately. No. So that's really powerful, and that's part of why I like him. Is that he's not only a beat stick, but he buffs the army in some significant ways. Alfarius does similar things, but he only does them once per game. But he is a nightmare for various other reasons. Calculating Swordsman, this was an old rule in the last edition. He would gain +1 weapon skill in combat with, I think it was in a challenge. He gained +1 weapon skill every turn to a maximum of 10.
Is that this rules?
No,
Right.
this has changed.
Yeah,
this has changed. They've made it much more vanilla now. So when fighting in a challenge, he may re-roll all failed to hit rolls of 1 on the second and all subsequent rounds of the challenge to show that he learns.
Yes,
like the Ultramarines do.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you know,
it's no longer as powerful as it was, and that's right. He shouldn't be up there at the top.
No, he shouldn't.
He's a strategist more than a warrior, but we will see that he can also be quite the warrior.
Yes.
His armour is nothing special. 2+ armour save, 4+ invulnerable save. Really don't like the 4+ bit of that.
He's a warrior unless fighting a single fire drake. Then you couldn't kill him. If he was fighting multiple, he could
slaughter all of them and their
one or two alone. Some lucky saves for me.
Primarchs struggle when they're with chosen warriors who stubborn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really
I mean, chosen warriors. Yeah.
You have to be careful with how you use them.
On my on Sunday to the betrayal at Crawley. Which number is it? 4 now? 3? Can't remember.
Oh, I have no idea.
One of the betrayal.
I've missed one of them. So
yeah, I've missed one. So are we taking those of them custodians? Sorry.
Chosen warriors is a good way to use this, and there's a unit here that gets it, but again, I've referred to them a few times. We'll get to them. I found them to be pretty dire, even though they seem like they should be great. So his sword and his fist, this is where the beatstick power lies.
Yeah.
They're both specialist weapons, and he can use either in any particular assault phase, and in either case, he gains +1 attack for having 2 specialist close combat weapons. So on the charge, he's got 8 attacks.
Yeah.
The Gladius, his little tiny sword, is +1 strength, AP2, melee, shred, murderous strike 5+, mastercrafted and specialist.
So is that strength 7?
Yes, strength 7 on the charge.
So he's not doubling people out at that
no,
stage.
he's not. But murderous strike.
Murderous strike is at 4+.
5+. I've had him use it against dreadnoughts to try and get. In fact, no. I'll get to the fist and tell you what I did with the fist recently. But it's useful against things that you want to strike before.
Yeah, a dreadnought on a few wounds probably hit it.
Yeah, because you don't want them to hit back.
No, but if they're full wounds, you need to hit them with strength 10, don't you? Because otherwise they're going to.
Well, this is why you want him in the unit, so you can allocate wounds to other people.
Yeah, for sure.
And I shall explain. His other weapon, the Hand of Dominion, is like Sanguinius' spear, strength 10, AP 1.
It's nice.
But it's melee, unwieldy, brutal 2, which the spear isn't, mastercrafted, and benefits from the specialist weapon of the two of them.
It's funny how some primal weapons are, better than others, aren't they? It's like, his is brutal 2, the Gorgon I think is brutal 3, I'm pretty sure, and then, Sanguinius' hammer is not even brutal anything.
No, it's not, but it's, I think, in the lore, Sanguinius takes down a lot of Titans and Knights and things, and strength 10, AP1 with Exoshock 4+, it's better for that sort of thing. Yeah. I don't like the fact that he can't take his good sword and the spear.
Yeah, we're not talking about Blood Angels.
No, we're not. So just an example of how to use this in quite well. I was very pleased with myself here. I was playing Stoney in his demon army, and he had 3 demon sovereigns, a behemoth, and an archdemon. And the archdemon is the big boy.
Yeah.
And the archdemon came close to my army, and I got Bobby G into a group of breachers, and I charged it.
Nice.
Which I was hoping not to do, but I was taking so long to kill anything else because my shooting was not great. I took a few wounds off him, got into combat, let him strike first. He killed a few breachers. In fact, he only killed 2 breachers because Stoney rolled appallingly. I then hit him with the Hand of Dominion, which is brutal 2. My weapon skill was similar, but I have mastercrafted.
Yeah, get it.
And so I don't know how many hits I got through, but I killed an archdemon in one round of combat.
Oh man!
And at that point, it was like game over. Was almost over. Yeah, it was
so
glorious.
He's good all round, isn't he? I think he's good a tactician because he gives you the extra things for the army.
That's it.
The leadership bonus is great. All these extra special things from the what's it called? Preternatural strategy.
Yeah, preternatural strategy.
He gives that. So again, amazing bonuses for the army.
Really powerful,
and then he's
but
actually
also
really
strong.
good in combat.
Yeah. As long as you take him. against the right Primarchs like Vulcan.
But I'm saying, like, there's not much more you can want from a Primarch than what he does.
No, he's
he
not.
does
He's
a
not
lot of
overpowered.
stuff.
He's not a Horus, but he does everything.
Yeah, and he does it quite well.
Going back to my other Primarch, he doesn't do so much for his army, and I find that irritating because he's not only is he not a beat stick, he's also not got this. So yeah.
I know what you're saying. I have,
So that is Bobby G done. One of my favourite units. I just love using him. The character's great as well. I mean, he's one of the nicest Primarchs.
He looks cool.
Yeah, he's one of the nicer Primarchs. Falcon's, supposed to be the nicest.
Falcon is the nicest, but we know what to talk about.
Anyway, yes.
Yes. And it's a good model. We'll have a look at him in a bit. So that's him. Anything more about him? We're good.
I think that's all I've got to say about him.
Lovely. Okay,
he speaks for himself, really.
He does. He's solid. Right. Specialist units we're going to go to next, and named characters, I suppose, because you have a few, don't you?
I have one,
sorry,
and then in Legacies I have another one.
There's the
yes,
few then. Right. So yes, specialist units will go on first.
So the first and best of the specialist units are, of course, the Invictaris Suzerain. They're sort of like the special breaches, seems to be an Ultramarine thing when you see the other squad we've got. Basically, they are weapon skill 5, 3 attacks on the 3 attacks basic.
That's pretty solid.
With 2 wounds, 2 up armor.
Yeah, that's
now
good.
We should have mentioned some of the weapons because they get Legatine Axe.
Yeah. Which
is a strength as user AP2 axe that strikes initiative.
That is so good.
And they also get an Argurian pattern boarding shield. Now not only does it give you 4 up in vulnerable save in combat.
That is well good.
But it's not an upgrade to a boarding shield, nor does it count as a boarding shield. So you don't lose an attack for having 2 close combat weapons. So on the charge, each individual suzerain, and I could be wrong about this, so don't hold me to this, but each individual can have 5 attacks.
Yeah. So you've got your 3 base, 1 for charging, 1 for 2 weapons. So you've got your axes, a melee weapon.
Yeah.
And the other weapon is another melee, because you've got to have 2 melee.
They've got,
is that right?
What they got? Bolt pistol.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bolt pistol. You've got pistol, melee weapon. That gives you extra attack.
And it sort of makes up for the fact that the axe is only strength as user.
Yeah.
But you can also replace any of them with a Thunderhammer for 10 points.
That's nice as well. Give a couple of the Thunderhammers.
And I've done some great stuff with Thunderhammers on that guy. But they are honor bearers, so you can make them into a command squad. You just replace one guy.
Are they Chosen Warriors?
No, the other squad is. They can replace any of them can replace their bolt pistol with a plasma pistol, and plasma's pretty cool in this edition. Now, any friend, they've got the Lords of Ultramar special rule because they're meant to be sort of like not only warriors but people who are high in the administratum and stuff. So you see a lot of that on when the word
legates.
Yeah, legates and then Victorious. They're you see a lot of them in Armatura when the word bearers and world eaters invade there. There's a lot of these guys leading amongst the like bog standard plebs, Solar Auxiliary and stuff. Yeah. So that's and so this is the cannon fodder. Oh, no. The allied detachments, as the Romans would call them.
Humans.
So for Lords of Ultramar, which is a special rule, any friendly unit made up entirely of models with the infantry or cavalry unit type, so not just Ultramarines. This used to be like militia could do this. Right, now, obviously, it can still be. Which is not pinned or falling back and does not include any models with this special rule. Gains a +1 modifier to their leadership characteristic to a maximum of 9, while it has at least 1 model within 6 inches of a friendly unit that includes 1 or more models with this special rule.
Militia.
That's It's it can be used. It can be used for your other guys as well, but they're mostly leadership 9, especially in Army with Gunnymen. But militia won't be.
No, absolutely.
And with the new Solar Orcs coming out, they'll look very good in blue. So to have a unit there with next to some suzerain, and then go, no, you're not going to go anywhere.
You can do a proper Ultramar army.
And that's what I really want to.
13th Legion army, can't you?
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
The honour bearers I've already discussed. I mean, it's the same way as changing any specialist unit into a command squad. It doesn't take up HQ slot, blah, blah, blah. Now, the next unit I want to talk about is one of my favourites, but they I'm struggling to find a purpose for them. And this is
Right.
the Praetorian breeches.
Okay.
In the old version,
Praetorian sounds cool.
yeah. In the old version,
They
they
used to
weren't.
stab emperors, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of probably explains why they suck so much, because the Praetorians of the Romans' days sucked as well. Just not nice blokes.
No.
These guys used to be basic breacher squads. You could just replace the guns with swords.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a whole troops choice, loads of line troops choices with swords. Now, however, they are an elite's choice.
They're elites, yeah.
But both they and the suzerain, forgot to mention this, are line.
That's good.
Yeah. And, actually, and the suzerain are character, so they can accept challenges. They're all characters.
They're characters.
But the Praetorians also have chosen warriors.
There you go. That's enough. See, these units are great, aren't they? Because you have these chosen warriors or all character units. And then the Primarchs, they just don't rip through people.
No, that's
you
exactly
constantly challenge them out.
That's exactly it. They've also got Hammer of Wrath 1 for some reason, but they have 1 attack.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not
pretty
great.
garbage. But they are weapon skill 5, wounds 2.
Do they have dual
Leadership
weapons?
8.
Ooh,
Even the sergeant.
that's not
They
great.
don't have. They have power sword and bolt pistol, but
Okay, so they've got
unfortunately,
2 attacks.
but they do have a boarding shield, so they don't
So that
have.
takes one off.
Takes it away.
So back to
It's
1.
not. Yeah. So,
dear.
yeah, they're not ideal, but they can take Nuncio Vox and Vexilla. They're lined, so they can hold. They got heavy armor, much like the suzerain, so they can.
Are they stubborn?
I wish.
No, it's not great, is
No,
it?
it's really not
One
great.
attack,
It's
leadership
really not
8.
great.
Ooh.
The weapon skill 5 helps them. 2 wounds. Give them a chaplain or something.
they need a bit of a
You
boost,
kind
don't
of
they,
make
really?
them. They really do. All they need to be put down as troops, and not in the elite section.
Yeah.
We got other things we could use for the elite section that you could have put in this book rather than put them in the legacies. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
For every 5 models, one can have a Legatine Axe, which is good. They can have Vexilla and a Nuncio Vox, so if you want to, drop some quad launchers onto some silly recon marines, or attempt to hit some las cannons with your Scorpius and fail to hit them 5 turns in a row.
You murder through one squad.
I did not kill your las cannon squad.
No, not my las cannons.
Oh, the recon squad, yes.
I think you hit.
I think that's about the only thing my Scorpius ever hit that game. And since then, I have not used the Scorpius or the quad launchers because I just can't rely on these unreliable things.
Yeah.
The Praetorian Primus, Primus Pilot. He can take a Power Fist or a Legatine Axe, Plasma Pistol, and Artificer Armor. So again, it's not the worst. I'm not a big fan of Artificer Armor tanking, so I have not done that with him yet. There's definitely a purpose for these guys. I'm just not sure what it is.
Yeah.
You sit them on an objective at the back of your lines if you know someone's coming in, and then it's worth the 300 points you've paid for them.
It's a lot.
If no one is coming in your back lines, you have wasted a unit.
It's a lot.
Especially if you want to put like an apothecary in there just to make them a bit more. So currently, much as I love the models, they're so cool.
They sound a bit like Pyroclasts. Do you know what I mean? They're all right in correct circumstances, but
I would argue the fact that the Pyroclast can instant death a lot of things versus these guys with their little power swords. But yes, they, for various reasons, both units are a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
I wish I could take Praetorians as troops choices like you can take Pyroclast though. Man, I
under
really
a right
would.
of war,
Yeah, I really would. The fact that we've only got one right of war and it's fairly static in the way it does things. So the one named character we have in the book, we've really been we never had many in the last book, but so this is Remus Fontanus, the hero of Calth.
Okay.
He is slightly better than he was last edition.
Not the guy with the red helmet.
No, that's Aeonid Thiel. I'm not entirely sure what's happened to him. But Remus Fontanus is carrying that standard around with him the whole time, even though it was causing a load of problems for me, holding it on a speeder and all sorts of stuff. He's like, nope, I'm carrying this standard with me. He did kill a few word bearers with it, I think, as well. So.
Stabbing with a standard.
But yeah, so he's basically a Praetor-esque guy. He's got an iron halo, a specialist power sword, Nuncio Vox melter bombs, frag grenades, crack grenades, a Legion standard, which is always useful.
Yeah, it's good.
Because, Legion's, it just makes whatever unit he's joining line.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful. No. The Herald gives you fearless because they cause fear and are fearless. He has Master of the Legion, independent character, Adamantium Will, like his dad, 3+.
Pretty good.
And then his Warlord trait is Resolute Planning. Now, this, if Remus Ventanus and any units composed entirely of models with the Ultramarine special rule automatically pass any leadership tests or morale checks made whilst they have at least one model within 3 inches of an objective. Now, that is incredibly useful.
That is
incredibly useful. In addition, an army whose Warlord has this trait may make an additional reaction during the opposing player's movement phase. Unless he's been removed as a casualty.
Movement phase reactions are a bit like...
Yeah, and his special weapon isn't exactly ideal.
Yeah.
If you are on these objectives, he's not gonna...
Yeah.
You're not gonna hold
for
long. Yeah. His special weapon is called the Phaethon. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Strength as user. Oh, so much stuff in this army. Strength as user. AP3, melee, rending 5+, mastercrafted, which is great for incompetents like me who can't roll dice.
Join the club. I think most people can't roll dice, can they?
It's really useful having a reroll, and that's why this is why I find this army very forgiving. There's lots of things that allow you to reroll, or plus your add to your stats so that you can hit.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Some armies are just much easier to use than others, aren't they?
And that is the end of the books.
That is the end of the books.
That is the end of the book stuff.
The book stuff.
We've still got the specific weapons.
I think you mentioned I have mentioned them. Is that right?
I've mentioned the Legatine Axe. Yep. You can give that to any independent character.
Strength 5 OP2?
For 5, strength as user.
Oh, as user. Oh.
Yeah. Legatine Axes. This one, the suzerain are not great. They used to be.
Right.
But they do strike at initiative. The Argurian pattern boarding shield, you can give it to an independent character.
Is that the one
does not have the
unique? Got?
Yeah. Does not have the unique unit subtype. They may take an Argurian pattern boarding shield for 15 points.
Expensive.
Now it just says but it says here 5+ invulnerable save against any shooting attacks in any phase, increases to 4+ against attacks made whilst engaged in assault.
That's good.
In addition, a model may not make attacks with any weapon that has a two-handed special rule. Doesn't specifically say you can't have the extra attack. And also, you can't give boarding shields to Masters of Signal or various other characters. This isn't a boarding shield by their standards. So you can give a Master of Signal an Argurian boarding shield, or any Centurion that couldn't otherwise take them.
They should tidy it up. They should just tidy these things up.
They absolutely should, but
maybe anything that's got the word boarding shield counts as a boarding shield.
But maybe that's the reason they have this separate.
Probably
because otherwise, why would you have it? You can give it to your Praetors, and they've already got a 4+ invulnerable save. I mean, it's just.
Well, they do these things. I mean, you can take a Presidium shield with, a Tribune or a Shield Captain, and it does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But that's why you can get it for free.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah.
Then there's the Mantles of Ultramar, which we haven't discussed yet. It's something I really want to use, but it requires using a non-Terminator armoured Praetor, and there's reasons why I keep using this guy. My nice Christmas present, so I don't get to use it at the moment. You can give a Praetor, one Praetor and a detachment. You give in the Mantles of Ultramar for 25 points. It's 2+ save. In addition, it grants the Battle Hardened 1 special rule. And that model is not affected by the blind rule. However, any unit he has joined is affected by blind.
So there's only a couple of things.
He's battle hardened, which is pretty good.
Battle hardened good.
You know, you'd have to hit him with something with strength 10 to whack him out, and that's just useful. And for 25 points, it's a bit different. And the blind special rule usually doesn't come into account. But if someone hits you with a, I don't know if it's conversion beam. I think does that cause blind? I know some mechanical things do. No, that's fine.
Lightning gun? I don't remember.
Something causes blind, and I hate it. And he might.
Dark fire cannons, probably.
But then it doesn't really matter if he is immune to it, if the unit isn't, because then it's not him that's doing all the reactions, is it?
Yeah,
so it's fine. They're not the greatest armory.
Yeah, it's not much there, but.
Again, the Fists and the Sons of Horus have some really nice weapons, and the Iron Warriors, the Graviton Maces can just take out Dreadnoughts. I've heard a certain friend of ours has bonked one of my dreadnoughts out with a Master of Signals with a graviton mace like it was nothing.
Hilarious.
Oh, it was very funny. And at the end, I'll bring up John later when we just when we discuss using this army. So that is all the book stuff.
Awesome.
So I will.
So pushing on then. So we're going to talk next, hopefully, about. I'm going to go on to legacy units.
Yes.
And exemplary battle. Are they exemplary battle units? Is that what it's called?
Yes, an exemplary battle unit. There's only one.
There we are. So
I actually
that's what we're going to talk about.
Rubbish.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'll leave that there.
Take your time.
Cool. So there's some famous legacies units for the Ultramarines. They've all changed since
Do you
the
want
new
to talk
update.
about our favourite one? So your old favourite one that's changed to your not favourite one.
And what everyone, all my lovely friends call my crutch.
It used to be.
And it did, and I don't deny
a lot of people
it.
use them.
A lot of people use them in Alpha Legion.
In Alpha Legion.
Yeah.
So you can probably guess.
Yeah.
Who we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
they've
been. I would say, given the paucity of Ultramarines players I see, the people that got it nerfed were the Alpha Legion.
Yeah, I think you're
another
right
reason for me to hate them.
Yeah,
but I always argued that Fulmintaris, yes, they're powerful, but you have to be a competent player. The two guys who've been on this before, they both, once they knew how to deal with Fulmintaris, Fulmintaris was no longer a problem.
Yeah.
You know, John was great at hitting them with his Scorpius and just wiping them out, as was Tom, just hitting them from where they couldn't reach, because the range on their big missiles was 24 inch.
Yeah,
anyway,
when you're infiltrating with them, very much difficult.
Oh yeah, exactly. But
so you've got
Ultramarines aren't cheaty
different.
scum like Alpha Legion. So Ultramarines play with honour.
Alpha Legion are cheaty scum, as everyone knows. We don't like the 20th Legion because we don't really know what the hell they're doing.
No,
and I don't know if they do.
They are incredibly powerful in this edition.
I think they've been whacked now because they haven't got Fulmintaris anymore. What are they going to do?
Well,
they'll
go. There's so many of them they could steal.
What are they going to steal?
I know one of them. One of the Alpha Legion players. He uses Raven Guard's Dark Furies. He also uses Tyrant Siege Terminators.
Okay.
He's never used Fulmintaris, and that's just a credit to what sort of player he is, in that he can beat people with Alpha Legion without having to use the crutch of Fulmintaris.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. Alpha Legion do
absolutely.
That,
they've got a load of stuff, and it is fun. But I would argue you shouldn't be able to put more than one Legion specific unit in your army. Anyway, that's a completely different. Yeah, so Fulmintaris Terminator Squad. Bobby G saw what Perturabo had done with the Tyrants, and like he likes to adapt things, he decided he would improve upon it. And in the old edition, there was a load of complex rules, and they were fine. In this edition, they were made too powerful. They had 2 Strength 8, Brutal 2. No, 1 Strength 8, Brutal 2, 24-inch AP2 missile.
Out of line of sight, wasn't it? As well?
And if you stood still, you could get it out of line of sight. And then that would also ignore cover.
It was so hard, to be fair.
It was, but you had to be with 24 inches.
It was still too good.
But the other missile they had was 4-shot, 36-inch range, breaching 6+, pinning. Yeah. And that could fire from behind cover as well.
Yeah, I don't mind if it could fire behind cover if it just wasn't AP2 and wasn't Strength 8. If it was Strength 7, AP4, I'd be like, fair enough.
We will, yes, I'm sure you're happy as they are now. We shall go into how much they've changed and how awful it is. I agree they needed to be nerfed for competent players, not for me. I needed them longer range, but no, for competent players, it definitely needed to be nerfed, but not in this stereotypical knee-jerk way, especially as I think it's basically the Alpha Legion that have done this to us.
Probably.
I don't see a lot of Ultramarine players anyway.
Probably. But
that's just our meta. So, Fulmintaris. They have basic ballistic skill 5, which is better than Tyrant Siege Terminators, and they're cheaper by 10 points.
That is nice.
And they were cheaper by 10 points even when they were good.
Yeah.
The rules now, you have to swap. They come with Petrarch targeters, which give them like twin link to night vision if you stand still. But you have to replace them to get any sort of combat weapon.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can replace all but one, and the unit will still get twin linked.
Yep.
No, still get night vision.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if the twin link doesn't carry on to the rest of the unit.
Are they better as a shock assault unit now, or are they?
I'm not sure. They're still basically Terminators, and unless you use the Locus Lectora to boost them up to weapon skill 5, and you can do that, and if you've got a Praetor in there with them, they're not. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's a lot of points, and they're no longer the powerful thing they used to be. And even the little missiles taking a hit because they don't get the 6-up breaching.
So let's talk about the missiles. What are they now?
So they are now garbage for basically. So the Hellfire plasma missiles, 36-inch range. They've gone up. They've gone up in range.
Good.
That's
a good replacement.
One shot, strength 7, AP 4, heavy 1, breaching 4+.
That's still all right.
It's
That's
fine, but I would rather have had take away either brutal 2 or strength 8. Don't take away both.
I think that's from my point of view. I think that seems actually fair.
Or boost it up to heavy 2. So it's like a long range 2-shot plasma gun. I'd have taken that, but the fact that it's one shot, strength 7,
but pushing AP4, good, but one shot,
you have to have a unit of 10 to do anything really.
I know
it's just expensive.
I get you.
Yeah, the Splinter missiles, same range. They've gone down in strength. They used to be strength 5. Heavy 4 pinning.
Pinning's good.
It's good, but as you've proven, no, I can never pin anyone. I'm now starting to make some rotor cannons for this army, but I will still continue to pin no one. It's just for a bit of fun.
I hate pinning so much.
Yeah, me too.
It ruins the game.
Me too. But I try and with this old army, I try and defend against pinning by having huge leadership and stubborn, and I also try and inflict it on other people so I don't get shooting reactions, because shooting reactions are powerful these days.
Oh yeah.
But I really can't be bothered to go into any more on that squad.
Hey, that's fair enough.
They've been absolutely hit with the hammer, and I keep trying to use them. And yes, in some regards, I used them against Stoney once, and 5 of them, I think, killed his demon sovereign who had 1 wound left. And did some wounds to some. Oh no, did they kill some brutes? They did something.
I guess the reality is we're not going to see them that much.
No, we're not.
If we do, they're not going to be anywhere near as effective.
No, they won't, and they'll have to be in 10-man squads, because 5-man squads with a single shot plasma gun
2
at
wounds
that
each?
range, 2 wounds each, ballistic skill 5. It's good, but it's
not
not
better weapons. But I mean, to be fair, I don't think the missiles are that horrendous. If you can reroll to hit with them, if you've got 10 reroll to hit,
well, they're ballistic skill 5 anyway,
and reroll to hit. Imagine that.
And night vision.
That's quite painful.
Yeah.
36-inch range as well. I don't think they're terrible.
I don't think there's anything in the Ultramarines army that is terrible. No. I think it all has its place, and a smarter person will use them well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue trying to use my Fulmentaris and my Praetorians, because they definitely have a place, even though I don't think Fulmentaris should have been nerfed as much as they were, and I don't think Praetorians should be an elite's choice. They should be a troops choice, because they can't fire. You're taking the sacrifice. That they can't fire, and they're heavy. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay. Right. So the next unit are the Lokatara Storm Squad. I'll go for them next, and then I'll do my big boy.
You do you.
So Lokatara Storm Squad are ridiculously good, theoretically. They have weapon skill. They're an assault squad. 190 points for 5. They've gone down or up or something. Weapon skill 5, 2 wounds, 2 attacks each. The sergeant has 3, 2 up armor.
That's good.
Leadership 9 compared to these guys. The sergeant has leadership 9 compared to these guys. Leadership 8.
Standard, weren't they? Yeah.
They have chosen warriors.
That's good again.
They're a fast attack choice.
Not a bad thing.
They have Argirian power swords, artificer armor, frag and crack.
Any invulnerable safe?
No.
Fair enough. Combat shield or anything like that?
You can give a combat shield to the sergeant. Whoop whoop. But for every 5 models, you can give a plasma pistol, Volkite Splinter, or a hand flamer. The sergeant may replace his power sword with a thunder hammer, power fist, legatine axe, lightning claw, power axe, blah. He can give himself melt bombs and a combat shield. Now, the special rules: the Blade of Wisdom. When this is a holdover from the last edition. when rolling to hit for a model with this special rule as part of an attack with a weapon that has the melee type on any turn in which they are part of a successful charge against an enemy unit, add +1 to the roll of the to the result roll. Sorry, this is really long-winded.
That's all right.
If the unit has already been targeted by a shooting attack from Legion's Ultramarines squad. Now, in the last edition, I think it was if that unit was already engaged with Ultramarines, so it was quite a nice sort of like Warhammer. You know, when you get the benefits from in the old world of like flanking.
Yeah,
it was like +1 to. This feels like they're trying to make it like they're a sort of a flanking unit.
Okay.
They're just ridiculously powerful for their points. I mean, they're almost as good, if not better, than Dawnbreakers.
Yeah, they are. They are pretty solid.
Bonkers.
Yeah, I mean that's under 20 points each, isn't it? 190. For 5, did you say? For 5?
For 5, yeah. Now they have Aegean power, Argean power swords, which are strength its user, blah. Melee.
They jump troops, are they?
Yeah. They are melee, rending 5+, duelist's edge, and did I mention they're all chosen warriors?
Yeah, you said that.
Dawnbreakers don't get this.
No, I know, but we're going to come on to the Blood Angels.
Yeah, one day.
Another time.
Yeah, hopefully when they brought out some good stuff. Anyway, going to my he's still one of my favourites, even though they've nerfed him a little bit. There's a character Dreadnought in Legacy units, who's probably the most favoured character Dreadnought still. The Honoured Telemachus. He was one of the heroes.
How many times has he got?
Just the one.
Just the Honoured.
I mean, he was one of the heroes of Calth. Got dug out of either a drop pod or a crashed craft by one of the legates who said, "Right, we've been betrayed. Come with me." And so he just walks along with his bodyguard.
I do find it funny that they're going to have to dig out how many of the Sons of Horus that are now cemented.
They won't dig out any of them.
Out them.
They're just going to drill holes and listen and laugh.
Cemented and about to go mad and kill each other after a while, aren't they?
Eating the Dark Mechanicus, as they all deserve. So, Honoured Telemachus used to be weapon skill 6. He's now down to weapon skill 5 as a normal Contemptor. He is, however, 7 wounds, 4 attacks, even though he comes with a power fist and a carries. Yeah, exactly. And he has hatred everything.
That's really good.
So when he charges, he gets a nice reroll. Yeah. He can stand with 7 wounds, toughness 7. He can stand up against Leviathans.
Yeah, he can beat a Leviathan
down.
But
to be perfectly honest, I've used Incendious Dreadnoughts to one-shot Leviathans, and if you're lucky, Leviathan doesn't even get strike back. It's all a roll of dice.
Yeah.
He often gets targeted because people are scared of him, and that's fine. There's no specific model, so you can convert your own, which is lovely.
I like your conversion.
I'm really pleased with it. I've seen better, but it's they don't do the Ultramarine chassis anymore, so I won't be able to have any similar dreadnoughts to this. So he'll always look different. He's very useful. He's 220 points. He used to be 240.
I'd say that's pretty good.
It's not bad at all for a sort of character-esque dreadnought.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I wish they changed, because I was thinking about it earlier when we were talking about the Strength 8 thing. I really wish they changed the sort of exploding Strength 8 stuff down to Strength 7. That's all it needs. Because why? Like you've got the Strength 8 instant deathing named characters from a Rhino or even a Dreadnought exploding, and suddenly your favourite character is just dead because you rolled a 1.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's encouraging you to play in different ways. Like, I mean, unfortunately, the Ultramarines seem to need to cluster together to get the benefits of their special rules. But the idea is they're saying don't have your Contemptors, all just like side by side. Have them, with a decent distance between them. And, sometimes like Rhinos and stuff, your characters are unlikely to fail,
they're very unlikely.
Usually. But it is incredibly funny when someone's does. If it's your opponent's, it's not if it's yours. At least dreadnoughts don't pin you. Yeah. Transport vehicles exploding. In your last event, my first game, both my Spartans were blown up, and both the stubborn Leadership 10 Crimson Paladins inside were pinned on the first turn. I mean, that you can't.
We're trying not to talk about Land Angels on America.
I know, but you can't. That's just
saying.
dice. That's just poor dice rolls.
It.
You can't
It
account for that.
For it.
Leadership's 10, stubborn.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just one of those things.
Hell yeah.
And exploding transports and tanks are annoying for that reason.
I derailed it a bit then. So
no, that's fine. I do agree. It's annoying, but I think it's good because it gives, you know, an exploding dreadnought, you know, gives him the last kiss. You know, if a little box snort goes in against Leviathan, as I've done in the past, when the Leviathan rightfully crunches it, the little dreadnought can just go bang in his face and maybe take a wound off him, and it's very funny.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, little dreadnoughts are very cool. They're an excellent Legacy's Choice unit, especially for Ultramarines, because they're small base, and if you use them to shoot las cannons or something, and then your entire las cannon squad, or most of them, go, we're going to hit those on 2s now. And if you've used it with the right combination of stuff, they're hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, blah blah blah.
Great choice.
And also, box noughts have searchlights, whereas contemptors cannot take them, which means that conversion beamers, as you found in one of our first games, had a conversion beamer contemptor, and we had knife fight. He couldn't use that for like 4 turns, and by the time he did, you were so close, it was pointless. Anyway, so that's the
Telemachus.
That's Telemachus, and that's all of the Legacy's units. So the final one is the Exemplary Battles unit, and this is go back to Calth, because everything Ultramarines is to do with Calth.
Of course it is. And the 500 worlds.
Yeah.
Is it 500 now or 499?
The Shadow Crusade. Calth is still there.
Yeah, it's burning.
It's just, you know, burning with the corpses of word bearers.
Yeah. The cooling corpses of word bearers.
An incredibly bitter load of Ultramarines. So yeah, the Ultramarines, Bobby G. Rabute doesn't like destroyer squads because, again, he's trying to seize the nicest Primarch award from Vulcan. But he still hasn't banned destroyers.
There we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Vulcan's
so
nice
he's
Primarch.
not. Yeah, he's not there yet, but he wants it. But on Calth, they just had to do what they had to do.
Yeah.
And he'll also
even psychic powers. I had to use that as well. Employ psychic powers.
Well, yeah.
Banned, by the way.
He was never. He was never. You know, on one side or other of that, so it wasn't a hypocritical choice for him.
The Emperor decreed it.
Unlike it was for some of the others, Mortarian. He's also never one to forgo something if it's a tactical choice, and destroyers are tactical. No matter how much you dislike it, the ability to go down and just obliterate a rebellious population and put the fear of Ultramarine in them to make them behave themselves, it's just worth it.
No, I get it.
And he'll never discard anything that has a use. A bit like Perturabo, I suppose.
Yeah.
These Nemesis destroyers, they're basically like a tactical squad. So you can have up to 10 men. Actually, can you have more than that? Oh wow. You can have 10 of them, 190 points. And then
190 for 10?
For 10. And then you can add another 10.
What?
Yeah, bear with me. They are stubborn, with hardened armour. They have bolter with Nemesis ammunition. They have a chainsword, rad grenades.
Jesus Christ.
They're
still going.
Yeah, the entire squad may take melter bombs, like Scylla and Nuncio Vox.
Yeah.
Every 5 models, usually the usual gubbins about destroyers, but also they can either take, for every 5, they can have a Volkite Charger, Flamer, Melter Gun, Plasma Gun, Graviton Gun, Las Cutter, lol.
Yeah.
The Nemesis Destroyer Sergeant can have a Thunderhammer and Artificer Armour and 3 Phosphex Bombs.
Right.
Which is nice and horrible. But they're special rules. The Nemesis ammunition, I'm not super keen on this. 18-inch range, Assault 2, Strength 4, AP 5, Harrower. Any to wound roll of a 6 is resolved at AP 2.
That's pretty good.
So it's not quite rending.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Additionally, any unit from which a model is removed as a casualty during a shooting phase as a result of an attack from this weapon, the wording is so terrible, must take a morale check as if they had taken 25% casualties.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine. It's another elite's choice.
Very good.
And it's a destroyer squad that's a bit different.
Very good.
And if you've got a 20-man destroyer squad, I mean, fair enough, you're not going to spend 400 points on it. But you've got that many.
Yeah.
And they're stubborn and they're hardened armour. They've got 2 close combat weapons. I don't know. It's a bit of fun and it's on my list of things, but the short range gets me.
I guess that they are getting stuck in, aren't they?
Exactly.
As you say, so that's probably the range.
And you can give them rad missile launchers, so they can engage from range. But
you'd like them to have line, wouldn't you? But
well, yeah. I mean, we've got plenty of units that got line. I mean, our two of our elite choices have line.
Yeah.
So there's not much more we can get. And then if you have Remus Ventanus in a unit, then that's got line as well.
Oh, fair enough.
I have a command squad all with breacher shields, which you face.
Yeah,
They've got line.
Loads of things. Especially when you keep rolling 2 5-ups every single time.
I mean, they went in as an ablative wound squad for him, and they managed to kill a fire drake or 2. That was fine.
Die.
Yeah. I don't like using them like that. I prefer them to actually do something. But in those situations,
they did a lot. They survived.
Yeah, I will throw away a breacher armed normal marine if it gets rid of a fire drake. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I know you're not a big fan of them, but the 3-up invulnerable save, stubborn, it will not die, is almost as irritating as Alpha Legion. Not quite, but it's getting up there. 3-up invulnerable saves are really painful.
They are, but like there is, they die when you roll 1s to a strength 8 weapon.
Back in the days in the Formantaris, glorious, hitting you with a strength 8, 3-up.
Yeah, exactly.
3-up.
Yeah, you know it. We love it, don't we?
I really don't. I really don't.
All right, so that's those guys.
So that's those guys, and I think that's
the shallot.
That is the lot.
So I guess we'll do a very corporate one for any other business. How about that? It's a new one. So any other business. So yeah, what other things do you think we should talk about? I mean, talked a bit about the units and stuff. Tactics are mentioned about that a little bit. So yeah, how have they been getting on in games, you think, overall?
It depends. I mean, they've got the ability to do anything. I've taken Terminator armed unit. I've taken sort of Terminator specific armies, and they've been great, especially with the Logos Lectora. But you have to again balance that with 3 troops choices. I've also got bikes. I've got this army is almost
massive, isn't it?
Almost bigger than my Blood Angels, and it's a lot more diverse.
How many points is it?
Roughly? Oh man,
5,000,
5,000, 6,000. It's probably pushing towards 7,000 now. I've now got, because of my attempt to do a Calth army, I've now got 2 knights and 2 armigers to go with them.
Madness.
Of House Vaughan here. And then there will be a Solar Auxilia and a Mechanicum detachment for my Calth list. But they're all going to be pre-Calth. So that explains why my Ultramarine army is so clean.
Yes.
And not covered and just destroyed. They can and will be an incredibly powerful army in the hands of the right player. Our little gaming group fears the day that a certain Iron Warriors player picks up his dark Ultramarines. Not only do I hate the fact that he thinks that there was enough Ultramarines to go traitor that he could form an army.
They would not do it.
But he will use the Logos Lectora.
He's not going to do it.
So much better. Well, he never will. He'll I'll have to face that grey army at some point, and I'll face it with him knowing exactly what he's doing. Arms. He'll know exactly what he's doing, and he'll use them in the right place. I think anybody who can get their heads around it, and he will, is going to be. This army will be terrifying. For me, the problem is trying to combine everything just so.
It's tough, isn't it?
And then also maintaining that focus the entire game. And sometimes I manage it.
Yeah, you managed it well against me.
Well,
it was a really great game.
It was a really great game, but by the end of it, both of us were losing focus, and we had to sort of redo stuff. Absolutely, but yes, it went my way in the end. I had absolutely tailored it so that it could.
Exactly.
Although I would argue that the 400 points I spent on artillery was wasted. Probably. So I fought you with a 2,600 point army, really.
Oh, absolutely. All right. We'll have what we'll do then. We'll focus on these little chaps here, and then have a quick chat about that, and then I think we're probably about done, aren't we?
Yeah. I think we've been. Yeah, as comprehensive as we can be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, got into a bit of a deep dive into Ultramarines, or the 13th Legion, as we like to say. So obviously we're going to concentrate on the models for a second. So thanks very much for taking the time out to talk about it, because it is important to delve into each of these legions. And I was lucky enough to play the army, and sort of, so I knew a little bit more about it, you know, prior to jumping in. So it's good.
It's nice not to be surprised by certain things they do.
Yeah.
Oh no, that unit's going to hit you on 2s because this guy hit you. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, gotchas are upsetting sometimes.
Yeah,
like when you do get the gotchas, yeah, I suppose it's I don't know, is it fun? Probably
my issue is telling people too much about what my army does, because I want to be fair and upfront.
Yeah.
And I end up going, oh well, all of this can do this, and by the way, this Telemachus can do this. And they go, oh, can he?
Yeah.
10 las cannons in the first turn, and it's like, if I didn't say that, and if I just trusted you to have read the rules,
I wonder. Well, that's another discussion for another time. But
it's tricky.
I guess you have to think in play, like, how much should you actually tell them about everything you have? Otherwise, how long is it going to take?
We've had this discussion before, but ultimately, the more we play everyone, the easier the basic rules.
Just keep playing the games, and then you'll hopefully over time figure out, and that's basically the way it is.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Awesome. Right. I shall focus on
the units.
Do it.
Just get my fat self out of the way.
All right. So we're rolling. So here he is.
The man, the myth, the big lad. Pretty difficult to paint. That base isn't the best, but it's as close as I can come to marbling. Other than that, an absolute delight to paint.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Except the U's on his little tassels of his belt are so small, I lost them all. So I had to make my own things out of green stuff and just have coins on there.
Hey, that's good enough. It looks cool.
And I've also taken few other things of his to convert other units, like his standards and stuff. Next to him is one of my favourites, but again, I'm struggling. In fact, this little corner is things that should be better. You know, things that will be good if used with competency.
That Roman shield, it's totally Roman, isn't it, really?
It's so glorious. And the fact they got these little tiny gladii and the helmets, and I've given them the special shoulder pads as well. And this is on a Mark VI body. It looks really good.
Yeah.
You know, they're the right height now. You know, they're not going to be,
stumpy Marines,
stumpy compared to the Mark VI.
Yeah.
Then behind him is my converted Formantaris.
Yep.
I'm still quite happy with them. Some of them have got Tyrant Siege Terminator missile launchers, which are smaller than this one. This was a third-party one from Pop Goes the Monkey, and I think they look better.
Yeah, it looks cool. Looks like the Contemptor ones, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're very cool.
Contemptor missile launchers.
And the unit, as I say, with a bit more patience, I'm sure I can find a use for it.
Yeah, no, cool. Next.
And then I shall move Peter Denyer out the way.
Okay.
And we shall look at what Rupert affectionately calls Teletubby. Honours Telemachus. Crushing a word bearer's Praetor with 10,000
traitor.
Yeah.
Such is the fate for all traitors, however.
That's right. It's very difficult to paint cleanly whilst also having your dreadnought killing someone.
Yeah.
You know, if I'd been doing it with my Blood Angels, there'd have been scratch marks on his armour from where this guy would have been clawing at him. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good
cool,
it's a good
really, I really like it. It's cool as hell.
One of the last resin. I managed to get someone to buy this for me just before they stopped doing the resin bodies. So he's got all the legs.
Nice.
Everything's all resin on him.
So good.
Yeah.
He looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then who is the last?
The last guy is the Ultramarines have a great line in Praetors and characters. This guy's a Christmas present for me. It's got a very odd head.
Is that why it's called Peter Denyer?
Yes. A friend of mine bought this for me for Christmas.
It needs to be more ginger, I think.
Nick Rodway, or Third Line, as he calls himself on Instagram. Yeah. It's an absolutely lovely gift.
Yeah. Very kind.
But yes, I had to adapt the Terminator armour to fit the head. But ever since I have, I've used him in every game. And he's actually, for a Praetor arm with a Paragon blade, I often find them very meh. But because I love him, he seems to actually do the job. And a combi melt is always fun.
Oh yeah.
So much detail on these Ultramarines ones. It's just
They
it
are
was
awesome.
glory. It's just really fun to paint.
Yeah, man. All right. So yeah,
Right.
got a couple of models there, which is lovely. Awesome stuff. Right. Thanks. Any final thoughts about the Ultramarines? Play Ultramarines.
Play Ultramarines, basically. Yeah, play Ultramarines. They're the best army as far as anyone in this twisted universe is the best. I mean, he's not as weak as Vulcan.
Oh, here we go. Here
And
it comes.
and you know,
Oh dear. Yeah.
if Imperium Secondus had got underway,
Sanguinius would be in charge.
Sanguinius would be in charge. He'd still be alive, and they probably would have done a lot better.
Oh God! Wow, savage,
You know.
savage. All right, awesome stuff. Thanks again, and we shall end it there. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.